Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel for today's Raptors Happy Hour live stream. We are here for Friday, November 21st to give you all of the latest when it comes to the Toronto Raptors, and we'll bring a ton of discussion about the Raptors along the way. That is what we do here on the Happy Hour every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. I come here to host you guys in the chat. We just hang out and get to chat Raptors, talk about what's going on around the team, and it usually leads to some good fun. So let's get things started today. If you guys enjoy what you see, as always, please remember to hit the like button. It does make a big difference to helping out the channel, helping us grow in the YouTube algorithm. Also, please make sure you are subscribed for more content like this. Like I said, I'm live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 5, and I'm live for watch-alongs on 15 minutes for every Raptors game day, at least almost every Raptors game. It will be live tonight. It's a doubleheader tonight. We've got the Raptors in action, an NBA Cup against the Washington Wizards a little bit later on. The Raptors could, I think, pretty much secure. Actually, I won't say that. Listen, a win would go a very, very long way to helping them secure qualification for the quarterfinals of the NBA Cup. If they win today, they'll have pretty good point differential. They'll be 3-0, so they'll be in a really good spot. Anyways, let's just hope they win out, and we don't have to worry about any of the permutations or variables associated with it. But let's jump into the show today. Few things that I wanted to touch on today. First of all, what I want to cover, I want to go through NBA awards and where Raptors members stack up in these NBA award conversations. After their very good 10-5 start to the season, the Raptors have moved into the 2 seed in the Eastern Conference. So naturally, they've been playing well, and naturally, people are vaulting themselves upwards in those award conversations. So we'll see where Raptors members are ranked when it comes to possible awards. We're going to be looking at some betting odds associated with it to give us a better understanding of the perception they have. Then we're going to go a little bit further into the NBA Cup, talk about the Raptors' chances of, winning it, but at least advancing beyond the NBA Cup, which will be great. And after that, we're going to be looking at the Raptors rotation. And when I say rotation, I mean the end of rotation, where the rotation stands at this point of the season where we are. Guys like Jamison Battle seem to be playing decently well, but struggling to get any real meaningful play time. Guys like Ochai Agbaji, who was pretty important to the Raptors last season, he's back healthy, and he didn't play at all in the last game against the 76ers. So we'll look at the minutes distribution, what we think can and maybe should happen for the Raptors as we progress through the next little string of games. And to finish off, we're going to be looking at a Bleacher Report article. I haven't looked at this article yet, but the article is titled 2019 Redraft. Would Zion Williamson, Ja Morant still go top 2? So if you guys have been watching the content on the channel, I recently did my own version of a redraft of the 2019 draft class. So I want to see theirs compared to mine and see what they got wrong, because it's definitely not going to be the same as mine. And mine's right, of course, at least in my opinion. But we'll see if there's any egregious positionings. We'll see. Specifically, we're going to see where RJ Barrett goes in the redraft there by author Grant Hughes on the Bleacher Report article. But Friday, 5 p.m., the happy hour. There's no better happy hour than the Friday at 5. Work is done. Vibes are up. You got an entire weekend to look forward to. That's the beauty of it. You've got all this time to look forward to. The Friday happy hour is the best happy hour. I'm so glad some of you have chose to join me for the happy hour here today. Should be a fun day, and hopefully a win for the Raptors to go with it against the Wizards, and some good times can be had with everyone involved. Spread for today, Raptors are favored by 13.5. So, yeah, that's probably a game you should win. But they're favored by 8 against the Hornets and nearly didn't win. So you never know when it comes to the NBA. 13.5, though, they really should be winning. Anyways, in the chat today, we've got Daniel Berry Sports Highlights joining us as per usual. Same with Q-Man and Jimbo Jenkins. We also have Tom Graham tuning in today, watching from the morning AM in Australia. Thank you for joining us on the other side of the world. It says, morning, mate. Just getting ready to go in for a tattoo this morning. Let's go, Raps. Tattoos. Nice. What are you getting? Where are you getting it? If you can answer. But again, I mean, as you probably know, I have loads of tattoos. My left arm is covered and my right arm is half covered. One day it will be fully covered. So I'm a tattoo enjoyer. Absolutely. Let me know what you're getting. Do you have Brace? What's this? Happy Friday. Happy Friday to you. Happy Friday to all of you. Jimbo Jenkins. So I heard people saying BR 2019 redraft was horrible. Well, I've seen the same. I haven't seen any of the results, but I did see that it wasn't too good. So I looked it up and have not looked at it at all. So I'm just gonna go in blind to it, and we're gonna see how bad or good it may be. I wasn't expecting it to be very good. I just hope it's not bad to the point where I feel like it's like rage bait. Like I would hate to for the piece to be intentionally poor just for people to talk about it. I despise that sort of content. I absolutely despise like the likes of Skip Bayless, who I firmly believe Skip Bayless purposely says shit he doesn't believe to drum up engagement, and that's just something it makes me sick, truly. And I think Stephen A is guilty of it. I think like Colin Cowherd's guilty of it. But like when creators, it's one thing to embellish for the sake of content. You know, it is a, you know, it's a content game after all. But to truly ignore your own feelings just for engagement, that's just absolutely sickening. So hopefully we don't get that. I don't get that vibe out of the article, but we'll see. Maybe they're just dumb. Getting my daughter's name on the side of my head. Wow. Side of the head. I don't think I'll ever go for a side of the head tattoo, but that's an interesting one. Hopefully it doesn't hurt too bad. Yeah, that'd probably hurt. That would probably hurt. Yeah. Tattoos don't hurt that much. They hurt as much as you think they'd hurt, but granted, I haven't gotten them in ultra sensitive areas. Like the elbow, the inner elbow, I guess we'll call it, is a little bit tender. You know what? It gets quite a bit tender closer to the armpit, which I have done here and here. I had a very detailed tattoo on my right that's like right up here. That one that sucked. That was probably the worst, but it wasn't like too bad. If like I have pretty high pain tolerance, but even in like lower pain tolerances, if anyone was thinking about getting a tattoo, but anyways, the people who say like tattoo is gonna hurt too much, that's why I don't want to get one. That can't be a reason. It's not gonna hurt enough. If you want a tattoo, get it. It doesn't hurt that much. Anyways, we'll keep it moving here. We tatted indeed. I'm a fun guy. Says I'm working all weekend and Monday. That doesn't sound fun. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm happy to be weekends. I've just communicated. I work long hours during the week. I work long days, specifically Mondays and Thursdays. I grind through the week. I've communicated. I need the weekend. I need 2 full days to just not do work. Which, you know, a crazy thing to say, I know, in the capitalist society that we live in, but no, I do need those 2 days. So I guess sometimes there is like some things I got to do on Saturday, but no, I need that. And like Saturday mornings, I'm going to be like editing some stuff for the channel here. So, you know, we still put in a little bit of work here and there. Shout out to Kendrick Perkins for predicting the Raptors would be great. Yeah, big perk. Got this one right, it seems. He was high on the Raptors, or 10-5, and he's victory lapping it. Nice to have a media member on our side for sure. Bullet Bill says, when you dropping stickers? Yeah, stickers. We did like a year ago. We got 3 stickers out right now. If you're interested, we have the regular amateur hour. All stickers are the logos you see up here. So we have the amateur hour sticker. We have the Colonel sticker. Let's get a better look at that without my fat fingers in the way. There, that's me, by the way. That's my likeness. And we have the King sticker as well. $3 for 1, $5 for 2, $6 for 3. That is the pricing arrangement. And I've got them all here. So if you guys are interested in stickers, head to the Kijiji link that is in the description. message me with the Kijiji link, and I'll hook you up. We'll get some stuff sent out. And anybody who gets stuff, you're not just getting what you bought. You'll get some extra goodies in there as well. So, yeah, check out the merch link in the description. You can check out the other merch that we have as well. There's not just stickers. We have shirts and hats to go with it, but stickers, nice and cheap. I made stickers just as absolutely cheap as possible. No real profit at all on that. Let's just spread around the good news of the channel. That's all it is. Anyways, thank you, Bill. Hope to see your message in there. Tom Graham says stomach and neck has been the worst so far. Yeah, I haven't done anything that crazy. My fiance has a tattoo on her ribs, like here, which was very detailed, and she was that one, she said, hurt quite a lot. So I haven't done anything like that. I don't really have any plans to get tattoos in that area. I don't know. Once my arms are done, I guess it's down to the legs, and then I don't think I'll ever go beyond that. We'll see. I mean, I kind of was good to just be the one arm, and then I'm like, let's do the other arm. Actually, it's not true. I was always gonna do the one arm, and I was gonna do my right leg. I have my left arm and my right leg, but then I tore my ACL in my right leg, and I just, first of all, it's been 2 years, and it's still, my shin on the right is still swollen, so it'd be super tender there. Plus, if any further complications came with my right leg in the future, I just didn't want tattoos there. I don't know, so I decided to go with my right arm instead. So eventually, I'll be sleeved up on both. Thank Henry Ford for introducing the 5-day work week. I mean, we can get into all of that. Listen, I guess it's fine. I work pretty flexible hours too, but I do put in quite a lot of work during the week. So I very much work for the weekends, and I enjoy my weekends. And I'll certainly, well, at least I'll hopefully enjoy tonight's game with the Raptors. Anyways. Last comment here. Then we'll jump into the awards conversation I was teasing a little bit earlier. Love just chatting with you guys. That's the best part of the streams. Kangaroo Kids at the door. Net is plus 39 for tonight against you. Plus 39. What does that mean? Are we saying like odds? Plus 390? The door shot. Well, not to get cocky or anything, but we've hit 2 of the last 3, right? 2 of the last 3 have dropped. Feeling pretty good. Now that the duck is broken, I can just kind of shoot comfortably. Although the last one I took, which is a make, I came out horrendously. Like, it actually, I let go and then tried to almost like catch it to bring it back. It was like I didn't want it to go, and then it went in, and then I was just like, oh. But maybe I've deserved a little bit of luck. The first one I made, that was all me. That one was a bit lucky. I deserved a little bit of luck as well. Anyways, we continue. Highlight reel the 2 makes. I should clip them, to be honest. I didn't clip them. I'd have to go back and find them in those long streams, so I'm not going to do that right now. But that is a good idea that I should have thought of before I made them. So next time I'll try to get a clip of it because yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool to finally make them, and hopefully in the new apartment I can find somewhere to put the net that we can get some good angles of it as well, because I think like this is a very so how I've done it here. I'm against a window here. I have a window here. There's a window here. I'm a corner unit, and this is like the full length of this is the longest it could be. This is the most depth I could get out of the shot here. In my new apartment, I am very much thinking that I will be against a wall that's much closer on this side, so we won't be able to do a door shot this way. It'll have to come at like an angle somewhere. I don't really know the logistics of it. Also, I haven't seen my apartment since the viewing, and it's been a while since I went to go take a peek at it. So anyways, we'll see what I can do about the door shot. But let's get into the meat of the sandwich that is the show that we're doing today. And I want to talk about the NBA awards because coming into the season, the Raptors, the expectation of them was that they're going to be about a 500 team. If you looked at betting odds, it suggests they're going to be just under a 500 team. But Raptors fans, I think the most of us felt like this was a team that could be a little bit above 500, challenge for maybe a top 6 position in the East, but more likely a play-in tournament spot. But with the way the Raptors started the season, they're 10-5. They've won 5 games in a row, and they're all the way up to second in the Eastern Conference. Naturally, there's going to be players now with further involvement and members now with further involvement into the conversation surrounding end of season awards. So let's take a look at where things stand right now for the current Raptors group in terms of those awards. So, big awards that are out there. We've got the MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year, Most Improved Player, Sixth Man of the Year, now Clutch Player of the Year, along with Coach of the Year. And after the Raptors' great start to the season, let's see how much respect the individuals within the team are getting. So, as far as MVP is concerned, I think it's very safe to say that no Raptors players are really going to be involved with the MVP market. Look, this isn't really one player driving us forward here. It's very much a committee of players playing well to get us into this position. So, no MVP. There's no real large MVP candidacy for the Raptors. I'm actually going to be looking on DraftKings. I'm not sponsored or anything. It's just, I think, the most widely used sports book. So I'm just going to be looking at DraftKings odds to give us a good understanding of where things stand for Raptors members. And there was not a single Raptors player listed as a possible MVP candidate right now. Not to say that none of them can win. You know, if the Raptors go on an absolute tear this season, it is extraordinarily unlikely for any Raptors player to be in that position come the end of the season. So, not going to be in the mix there for MVP. But where the Raptors could be in the mix for an award, and I think this is the strongest case we have right now, it's absolutely the Coach of the Year market. Currently, at least on FanDuel, Darko Rajakovic is listed as the second favorite to win this award. He's currently at plus 700. JB Bickerstaff plus 300. He is first in the race for this award, which makes sense because if you looked when I showed you the NBA standings, yes, the Raptors in second. They've won 5 in a row. The Pistons are first. They have won 11 games in a row. They look fantastic this season and a big jump up from last season. Really like how you win the Coach of the Year award. Coach of the Year's awards are won typically with how much more did the team achieve than they were expected to. So if the Raptors, let's say, were supposed to be a play-in team, and then they end up being like a top 4 seed, yeah, Darko Rajakovic for sure is a finalist for that award. I mean, I'd be quite shocked if he wasn't. For the Pistons, they're supposed to be kind of a middle-of-the-pack playoff team, like 4th or 5th, maybe 6th, similar positions to what they were last year. If that team were to win the Eastern Conference in the regular season, it could be the 1 seed. JB Bickerstaff, just because they're able to be the 1 seed, would probably be favored in order to get that award. But a huge contrast to last season. I mean, so much of what Darko Rajakovic has done so poorly for the Raptors over the last couple of years is now a strong suit of him. Like the half-court offense has been horrendous for 2 years. It's been great this year. The defense has been truly terrible for a lot of his tenure, and it's been decent this year, and hopefully is improving, and hopefully is not a point of weakness for the Raptors. The clutch play this year has been good when needed. That has not been the case in recent seasons. And sure, they've added Brandon, which has helped that, but you got to give credit to the coaching staff. And I mean, the way the offense has looked as a whole, the way the ball is moving, the way we're distributing around so many high usage players, like, you have to give a ton of credit to the coaching staff for that. Rotations have been way better, and they've been terrible for 2, but they've been way, way better, I think, this season. There's been some games where it's been a little bit questionable, but way better. There's a lot of strong suits to Darko Rajakovic and his coaching team, which after 2 years of real disappointment with Darko Rajakovic, the head coach, he has tremendously started to turn things around this season and absolutely deserves to be in this Coach of the Year conversation. Now, what will it actually take for him to win the award here? Well, Raptors, I mean, they'd have to have a really good, they'd have to be a top 4 seed. They'd have to be a top 4 seed in the East. I don't think the Raptors could be a 5th or 6th seed and Darko Rajakovic wins this award. That's not going to be. They'd have to be a top 4 seed. Thankfully, as for the remaining schedule, and this is pretty early to look at it, and there's still a lot of season, and it's still like, a small sample size of opposition teams to determine. But the remaining strength of schedule, Raptors have the 23rd hardest. So one of the easiest schedules remaining in the NBA, 8th easiest schedule remaining in the NBA as of right now. And I also wanted to kind of take a peek at how the season is going to finish. Because you get towards the end of the season, like last year near the end of the season, the Raptors won a bunch of games against teams that were more aggressively tanking than they were. So I'm kind of thinking, well, what if we're getting a bunch of games at the end of the season against some teams that should be tanking? Those are some pretty easy wins at the end of the season to kind of rack some up to help with this award. And in the end, it's not the easiest end of season schedule, to be honest. I was kind of hoping we would have it just for his sake, but I don't think we're going to get it. Like if we look at, let's just take like the last 12 games or so. You've got Utah, who will be tanking. You've got the Clippers, who actually, surprisingly, might be tanking. The Pelicans, who will be tanking. The Kings, who probably will be tanking at that point. Memphis, who the way they look might be tanking. Boston, we'll see, actually. I wouldn't put it past them to be tanking at this point. And Brooklyn, end of the season, who will absolutely be tanking. So actually, I mean, now that I say it out loud, that's 1, 2, 3... probably 4. That's probably 5 guaranteed tanking teams. It could end up being 6. And then, yeah, there's some tough games mixed in with, like, Miami, who will probably be playing for something. The Knicks, who will be playing for something unless seeding is not a factor. But then you could say the same for us. But, like, not the easiest, but not the hardest end of season schedule. And I'm also getting a little bit ahead of myself. Like, these games would be very meaningful for the Raptors. Like, you know, we're 10-5. We could lose 5 games in a row and all of a sudden we're chasing for playing tournament spots again, right? Like, still a small sample size, trying to keep, like, the reality check here. But the Raptors are in a position where if they have a good run this season, Darko Rajakovic absolutely will be in the conversation for Coach of the Year as he currently stands, as we saw there. JB Bickerstaff, though, if the Pistons keep up anything like the way they are playing so far this season, JB Bickerstaff is firmly in line for this award. What a great job he's done with the Detroit Pistons over the last season and a little bit. Other people in this conversation, Mitch Johnson of the Spurs. Yeah, like if the Spurs keep it up and make the playoffs, he'd have a candidacy. I mean, you can't forget about Mark Daigneault, because like if the Thunder win, like if the Thunder could break like the 74 win record, then he'd have to be really in the conversation. If the Lakers have a great year, maybe JJ Redick. But anyways, Darko firmly in this race. Let's move on to some other awards here. So I think the second most likely spot we find ourselves is the Defensive Player of the Year award. And Scottie Barnes in the last week or so has really vaulted himself up this page. So for reference, he's currently at plus 10,000. I bet him at plus 30,000. I wouldn't bet him at this number here. I bet him earlier in the week when I thought like he's playing some like amazing defense. The Raptors defense overall looks pretty good. Plus 10,000, by the way. It has an implied probability of less than 1%, and when you factor in the VIG in the market, it's a good amount less than 1% chance. So still not a very good chance, but at the least, in the conversation. And if the Raptors defense is pretty good this year, and Barnes plays like the way he's doing, I think it is worthy of mentioning him in this conversation. I think Osar Thompson is somebody to keep an eye on at the bottom here. But ultimately, like, if Victor Wembanyama plays enough games, he's winning this award. This is kind of what the market is right now. He's plus 350, but if Victor Wembanyama plays 65 plus games, he's getting this award. Problem is, he's out for a few weeks. I think he's going to miss like 10 games here. That doesn't leave a lot of wiggle room for him. I very much don't think he'll be playing 65 plus games, which makes him ineligible for this award. So beyond that, I think the way the Thunder are going to play, the amount of wins they're going to get, if Chet plays 65 plus, I think he'll probably win. But he also has dealt with injuries in the past. So if both of them are out of it, it's kind of like a bit of a free-for-all. Evan Mobley won last year. It's tough to win back-to-back years. I definitely think Barnes has some candidacy to this. Now, for Barnes to win this, he's played well enough, I think, to be in the conversation on his own. However, the Raptors defense, there has to be a bit of mention for the Raptors defense. Scottie Barnes would to win this. The Raptors have to be a top 10 defense minimum, but bare minimum. And even then, he has a lot of work to do. The Raptors currently have the 14th best defense when it comes to defensive rating. If you kind of dig a little bit deeper into the stats, some of this is a little bit luck driven, some of it at least. Like, the Raptors play well defensively, but there has been an element of luck to it. The Raptors have one of the best opposition 3-point percentages in the league, which some of it is because of the defense, but some of it is because teams, just like the variance has swung in our favor. Teams not hitting as many threes against us. There's truth to both sides of it. So we'll see if the Raptors can maintain these defensive levels. But like I said, I wouldn't play it at plus 10,000. I think that's probably like where it should be right now. But as far as like, we're not talking about betting here, talking about like the candidacy, I think Barnes could get himself into this conversation if the Raptors have a good record, the defense stays quality, and he keeps playing like this. Good grief, along with some luck injury-wise for other, like, negative luck for other teams injury-wise. If Wemby plays 65 games plus, he's winning this award. That's it. Like, he's winning it. He just is. But he may not play 65 games. Last thing I kind of wanted to look at here is Clutch Player of the Year. Now, this might be a tad of a stretch because, you know, guys like Shea have been so good in the clutch this year, and so has Cade Cunningham. But, like, I don't want to completely count out Brandon Ingram here. He's plus 15,000 right now. I don't think this is good. I don't think it's a great number. Like, I wouldn't play Brandon Ingram here. But just, like, keep an eye on it. Perhaps, like, if Brandon Ingram can continue to command kind of clutch situations for the Raptors, maybe they find themselves in some more of these clutch situations. Maybe Brandon Ingram can kind of sneak his way into some conversations here. I think that would be a really interesting development as we progress through this season. Read some of the comments here, what you guys think. Do I think the Raptors will have 3 All-Stars? No. I hope they have 1. This point, they'll have 1. Barnes will have it. Barnes actually has a better chance of making, just kind of, I thought this was interesting. Barnes has a better chance of winning Finals MVP than he does according to the odds. I think I saw. Then, oh no, it's not better. But Barnes is like Finals MVP odds listed, which is interesting. So does RJ Barrett. So does Emmanuel Quickly. So does Brandon. I mean, Raptors are even in these conversations, which is just crazy. I think Barnes has a really good shot at all defense. I would be curious if odds were posted for that, where he'd be. Barnes has a really good shot, I think, at an all defense team this season with the way he's played. But DPOY, he's got to do quite a lot to get there. All-Star, I think we'll have, based on the way we're playing, I think we'll have 1. Maybe we have 2 if like RJ could sneak into a world team, but he's kind of fallen off the pace of that a little bit. It'd be tough for Brandon Ingram to get into the USA team. But I think Barnes can do it. Put some respect on Pat Delaney's name. No. At the end of the day, the coach is the head coach, and the head coach has to get a ton of the credit. I did see that there's a WNBA team trying to poach Jama Malalela off the Raptors coaching staff. That would be unfortunate, but we'll see. I think he's one of the finalists. I think it's the New York Liberty. He's a finalist for a coaching spot somewhere in the WNBA. I don't know if they've picked a person already, but he was a finalist, if not. Anyways, Shadow Mosaic says Clippers can't tank because OKC gets their pick. Sorry, when I say tank, sorry. So when I say tank, I mean a team that will sell at the deadline, essentially. Like if the Clippers are way back of like the play-in tournament pace, which they might be with the way they're playing right now, they could just look to garner assets for some of their players. This year, yeah, near the end of the season, they won't be like intentionally trying to lose, but they'll be playing maybe some younger players, more development-driven players at the end of the season. That's what I kind of meant when it comes to the Clippers. Matt says, I feel like they would be top in the East. I put $100 bet on their over win total. That's looking pretty good. I mean, I don't know what you got, but looking pretty good for them to go over whatever win total you would have gotten. Never played a sport bet before, but I was confident in this team. Just, don't catch the bug. Just fun bet every now and then, Matt, like that. Go for it. And hey, bet's looking pretty good on the Raptors right now. Dak is, I'm not a better, but isn't even 10 plus 10,000 still good odds? For me, no. I don't think that's worthy of betting right now on Scottie Barnes. I think the time to bet Scottie Barnes DPOI has passed. So I would not recommend a bet on that right now. If Chet stays healthy, he'll take DPOI. I agree. Yes. I think it comes down to who can stay healthy between Chet and Wemby. If it's neither of them, then we have a real free-for-all. Clutch player of the year is the best player in the clutch of the year. Clutch is last 5 minutes, 5-point game or less. And there's a lot of statistics that drive that award with your percentages in the clutch, your points per game in the clutch, overall production in the clutch. So it'd be quite a stretch for Brandon Ingram to be in that conversation. But I think it's something to consider, at least a tiny bit, which I kind of want to talk there. They announced who they hired. Okay, so Jama Malalela is good. Oh, they hired a Golden State assistant. Okay. Well, there you go. Thank you for clearing that up because I had not seen that. Let's look at so let me see what the protections are on this OKC pick. Will Tankathon say it? They do not. Very nice to not be in the simulation lottery for Tankathon anymore. We're all the way down here. We're not even on the main page. That's nice. I do not know what the protections are. Let me see. If we sim it enough, like let's try to get the Clippers to first. Let's see if it always goes to OKC. Come on, give us one sim where the Clippers move up. There we go. Yeah, it looks like the Clippers, no matter what, give this pick to OKC. Because let's try to get them first one time. Because you have to remember, when they made this trade, it was like, well, we have Kawhi and Paul George. We're just going to keep on winning. Who gives a shit about these picks? And then they ends up not working out, and things like this happen. Wow, it's taken a while to get a Clippers first overall pick here. Maybe for the best, because I think it will go to OKC. There's probably a better way of checking this. But I just thought at this point we would have a Clippers first overall. Wait, can't we do the pick odds? Yeah, here we go. Okay, here we go. Clippers, it is, nope, no matter what, it is an OKC pick. There are no protections on the pick that is getting sent to the Los Angeles Clippers. So there you have it. I should have just done that to begin with. No matter what, no matter where the position end up in the lottery, it is an OKC Thunder pick. They are going to turn into a very disliked juggernaut because they're going to be really tough to stop winning the championship on a year-to-year basis. I think people are going to start hating them at some point, and that's what it's going to come down to. Are we a better team than the Pistons? I don't think so. I would said comfortably going to the season they're a better team than us. Is there a chance we lose tonight? Of course. There's always a chance. There's a chance Barnes could score 100 points tonight. There's a chance Barnes could get a 50-point triple-double. There's a chance Barnes could get a 5x5. A chance of anything. It's basketball. Raptors could score 0 points tonight, maybe. Wizards could win by 1. Anything could happen. Have to consider Raptors have played a lot of weak teams, so that will inflate our stats a bit. Yeah, sure, it's not been a truly difficult start to the season, but we also have one of the easier remaining schedules. I mean, you play in the East, you get a little bit of an easier schedule. So I think it's been, I mean, honestly, I think their first 10 games was a tough schedule. And then since then, it's kind of leaned out a little bit. But I don't know. I don't think it's been because they're getting easy games that this is happening right now. There's 0 chance. There's never a 0. Barnes will score 100 tonight. It's possible. It's probably not going to happen, but it's certainly a possibility that exists in the universe. For the Wizards tonight, Alex Sarr is a game-time decision. For the Raptors, Colin Murray-Boyles is out. So that would be big if Alex Sarr was missing. Yeah. We're also getting better chemistry. B.I.'s ankle seems to be getting better and better after a nice poster he did the Hornets game. Man, Graham's looked sensational. Yeah, you would have no idea he was injured. Do I think we can make the finals? Do you think we make the finals? No, I don't. I just kind of hope we finish in the top 6 right now. That would be my goal as of this point. That would be quite a stretch to make the NBA finals. A lot would have to go right for the Raptors. Yeah, no. I'm not feeling like this is an NBA finals team right now. Maybe it'd be the 1 seed if we didn't miss 10 days of practice. Yeah. What a stupid thing to say, Darko. Missed 10 days of practice, we were 1-4, and then since then we've only lost 1 game. Crazy. We'll fight in the playoffs, that's for sure. We always do. Hopefully we get there. Let's get there first. Still a long season to go. Yeah, talking finals. Let's make the playoffs. That should still be the goal. It's been great, and hopefully it keeps on going. But let's make the playoffs. Before we get to the playoffs, though, NBA Cup is in the mix, and that's a very attainable goal for the Raptors in the way they've played this season. So for the Raptors, excellent start to the NBA Cup. The Raptors group for the NBA Cup is themselves, Cleveland, Atlanta, Indiana, and Washington. And the 2 hardest teams in the group are certainly Cleveland and Atlanta. The Raptors have beaten Cleveland and Atlanta already. That's great news. You beat the tough teams. Now you go up against tonight the Wizards, who are, I think they have 2 wins right now. Oh, they have 1 win, actually. Oh, yeah, they got pounded by the Nets a few days ago. They are 1-13. Raptors are favored by 14 points tonight. I would suspect the Raptors are able to win this game. And then Wednesday next week, the Raptors play against the Indiana Pacers, who are 2-13 on the season, who are decimated by injuries. The Raptors will be favored in that game by a decent amount as well, because they're going to be at home for that game, along with the one they have tonight. So the Raptors, 2-0, plus 23 in the point differential, and playing against 2 weaker teams. I'm hoping the Raptors can win these 2 games. Period. I hope they can win these 2 games. Along with it, I'm hoping they can win by, if they win both, they advance no matter what. But, I hope tonight they can kind of put up a good score as well for the point differential, just in case if they were to lose to the Pacers and win tonight, their point differential will be very good for a 3-1 team. Maybe that's enough for them to still win the group at a 3-1 record, because 3-1 would guaranteed be at least equal to the top record, because every other team in the group has already lost a game. So I'm hoping the Raptors can win tonight, kind of ease a lot of the constraints there. And along with that, if they are passed and they go 3-1, then they can maybe sneak in as one of the secondary teams or one of the wild card teams, because 8 teams advance out of the 6 groups. As we know, the top seed in every group of the 6 groups and 2 wild card teams. So the best Eastern Conference team that didn't win their group could potentially be the Raptors. Anyways, I very much expect them to win their group. They are a very large favorite to win their group because they have a very easy schedule remaining in the group. Other teams that could join them, looking like the Pistons will advance here. Looking like, the Bucks should be in the mix here. The Knicks, the Bulls, the Bucks, the Knicks. The Heat. That's a pretty freaking hard group, to be honest. And then down for the Western Conference, only 2 games in. So not a lot to say. This group, everyone's 1-1, which is kind of crazy. But tougher groups here. Tough to really say. It's a very small sample of games. But for the Raptors, they're definitely going to be in the mix here. Kind of curious now that I mention it, what their odds are to win this tournament. They're pretty heavily favored to advance. That's at least my understanding of it. Let me just pull that up. Let's see. NBA Cup winner. The Raptors are actually 4th favorite to win the NBA Cup. Cavaliers, based on these odds, I would suspect also have... No, they played the Wizards in the NBA Cup. So I think they play the Pacers and Hawks still. I'm surprised the Cavaliers are rated that highly. I guess... Well, Cavaliers play the Pacers tonight, and they should probably win by a lot. Anyways, a little bit surprised to see that, considering the Raptors are the more likely team to win the group. Group A winner, Raptors are minus 2,000. So yeah, they're heavily favored here. Cavaliers are plus 2,700. Let's see. Maybe NBA Cup MVP. Barnes got to be somewhere close. Yeah, Barnes plus 3,500 could definitely make a run at something like this. I mean, it'd just be fun to play in some like higher leverage games. How the schedule kind of works out in the end for this event. If the Raptors advance, they will have a quarterfinal game, which will take place on either, I believe, the 9th or 10th. There's a big gap in the schedule to accommodate these games. I would expect the Raptors to advance at this point. If they advance, they'll have either a game on the 9th or the 10th. If they win that game, they play in a semifinal in Vegas on Saturday, and then the final if they win that in Vegas on Tuesday. This game is a one-off. This would be the 83rd game of the season. These two games, if the Raptors get this far, would count as regular season games towards their regular season records, along with being, knockout games for this NBA Cup thing. So, NBA Cup, not a humongous deal. The Bucks won it last year and then passed on the champagne and beer in the change room to celebrate after the fact, which was probably not somebody the NBA was extremely happy about, but that's what happened. It would be fun to make a little bit of a run here and have like a fun quarterfinal knockout game. Even better if the Raptors could, sneak out into the semifinals, get a game in Vegas. I think that'd be a really fun experience for this young group of players. So they're in a great spot, and they definitely should get themselves into the mix there. And I think that'd be a fun thing for Raptors fans to cheer about, as much as it's not like a huge deal. Who knows? Maybe one day NBA Cup will be a big deal. It'd be cool to say Raptors have won it. So let's try and go to win it. Can Colin Murray Boyles make the rookie first team? Probably yes. It'll be tough. I think it's more likely for him to be second team because he's more of a complementary piece. There's a lot of main pieces that'll be in that, like Flag, like Knipple, like the way Cedric Coward has played. Edgecombe has been pretty bad in the last couple of weeks, but like he's still getting a ton of usage. So be tough for Murray Boyles to get there, but he can make second team. That's the more likely one. I think the Cup should be our priority. That experience and playoff type atmosphere would go a long way for us. They talked about it. Darko has said they're treating it like a playoff atmosphere. They're playing in it tonight. They should be fired up for that. They're at home, their first home NBA Cup game of the season. It's nice to have like a little bit of extra for these games that matter for us, and no like tanking. Speaking of the Clippers being sellers, fever dream scenario, Clips want to get off Kawhi, plus Raptors going all in this year, running back a 2019 Raptors Kawhi championship team. It'd be pretty tough to execute. I will echo the sentiment of another user in the chat we have, Phoenix, who is looking at James Harden. I think James Harden would be the interesting one to get like a real proper point guard for this team. That would be, given like Barnes and Ingram, that level of playmaking would be certainly interesting. Kawhi, I'm not super invested in going back for with the injury issues and the amount of money he's making. Harden would be kind of an interesting one for me, for sure. Ghost is IQ says I wouldn't take Kawhi, but I'd take Zubac or even Brook if they're selling for nothing for size help. Well, Zubac is a phenomenal player, so I wouldn't call Zubac size help. That is like you're trading for your starting center if you're trading for Zubac, and I don't think the Raptors need to do that. Zubac is very good, underrated in my opinion. Brook Lopez, that'd be an interesting one off the bench if they're gonna sell. I don't know if that's a perfect fit. He's a fine rim protector, but interesting one nonetheless. Bean Sleeve says, man, watching that Hornets game in person the past month is beautiful. Wow, it must have been stressful, but awesome to be able to see a game like that and watch the Raptors win in the clutch. It must have been electric in there. Yeah, it's making me like, I haven't been to many Raptors games the last couple of years. I think I've been to one in the last 2 years, and they got smoked by the Chicago Bulls. Not fun. And the past 2 games I've been to a Bull. They played the Bulls and got smoked last year. And I think I was at a game 2 years before that, and they got smoked by the Magic. So having a strong desire to like go and watch these games lately. But this season, I really want to get in the building and kind of test that atmosphere. I think that'd be a lot more fun than, of course, previous iterations of the team. I have a lot stronger of a desire to go see this team in person right now. So cool that you were able to go and do that this season. I'm sure tickets are going to start to get more expensive as people take note of the way the Raptors are playing this season. Anyways, next up on the show today, we don't have time to get to everything I wanted to get to. I don't know, we'll fly through the Bleach Report stuff because I did want to spend a good amount of time talking about the battle for rotation minutes on the Raptors right now. It's definitely one the Raptors should maybe have a further consideration towards, I'd say, because we came into the season knowing that the Raptors bench was maybe not super top heavy, but it was deep. It had a lot of players vying for a limited amount of rotation positions. And there's been games where they've gone 11 deep, 10 deep seems to be the way they're going right now, maybe even 9 deep in some scenarios this season after 15 games. But like, there's a good amount of talent off the bench. And even though I said it wasn't going to be top heavy, it's felt like that. The bench has been great for the Raptors this season. But near the end of the rotation is where I want to kind of focus because there are good players either not getting minutes or struggling to get minutes. So should the Raptors start to consider a change there? And the player I think that's going to be the main focus here is Jamison Battle. I even got asked this in some content I did with work that wasn't at all related to the Raptors. It was like an NFL stream, and somebody asked, what's it going to take for Jamison Battle to get minutes for the Raptors? And to answer, I basically said, I don't know. I don't know what it's going to take because in one of the only games he got an extended run of minutes, he went 7 of 7 from the field, 6 of 6 from 3, had 20 points, and the Raptors beat the Cleveland Cavaliers. So if that doesn't do it, I don't know what's going to actually take it. And if we go back to the Raptors' previous game against the Philadelphia 76ers, the player that Jamison Battle would likely have to dethrone to get those rotation minutes is Jacoby Walter. And Jacoby Walter put up 11 points and had some big shots in his most impressive game this season for the Raptors. So if Jamison Battle was knocking on the door, Jacoby Walter kind of locked it for a little bit longer. As we kind of see the depth chart here, this is where it currently stands. We obviously know the starting 5 of Quickly, Ingram, Barrett, Barnes, Parton. That's not probably going to change for a while, if at all, this season. I kind of hinted at maybe swapping RJ and Grady. Maybe consider that in a previous stream. But anyways, probably not going to change the starting 5. The bench is listed as Shed, Walter, Dick, Murray, Boyles, Mamu. That's probably where I would have it as well, which leaves the likes of Ochai Agbaji and even Jamison Battle, who's listed as like a 4th stringer on this depth chart. It leaves them kind of questioning what their role is going to be. Agbaji was like decently important to the Raptors last season, but a lot of talk about him getting traded this season to help the Raptors duck the tax. And he hasn't also played great in the minutes that he's gotten, so he's kind of fallen out of favor. Jamison Battle is kind of forcing Toronto's hand at getting minutes this season because every time he plays, it feels like he's doing something good for the team. Last season, he brought really good levels defensively for a rookie relative to expectation. He was a solid defender for the Raptors and shot the hell out of the ball from deep. Like, teams know he's a good shooter. He provides a lot of floor spacing and can hang defensively quite a bit more than maybe other players with the Raptors, like Grady Dick, for example, who is not a great defender, really. We see, kind of pulling up some stats here from Data Baller, his opposition field goal percentage on shots that he contests is one of the lowest in the league. He's in 8% of NBA players. James Battle hasn't been much better there, 27%. Jacoby Walter, actually, solid defense in that regard this season. Minus 1%, which is 63rd percentile for the current NBA standing. So, honestly, like, my perspective watching the games this season, not digging into all these advanced numbers, has been, and these stats do matter, of course, what my eyes have been saying. James Battles looks solid in his minutes. I haven't been particularly impressed with Ja'Kobe Walter until that last game against the Sixers. Grady Dick has certainly left quite a bit to be desired with his play. But I continue to say to you guys that the Grady Dick minutes have very surprisingly been just incredible this season. Grady Dick's on-off numbers have been excellent. Like, Grady Dick, when he plays, he has a net rating of 17. When he's not playing, the Raptors have a net rating of -2. So a huge swing when Grady Dick's on the court versus off the court. And it's still like relatively small sample, 249 minutes on the court for Grady Dick this season. But even still, like, on a night-to-night basis, we see Grady Dick in the positive, and we see the Raptors winning the minutes he is on the floor. As much as, again, Grady Dick himself hasn't been spectacular, we've definitely seen, we definitely saw better from him last season. He's only averaging 7.5 points per game, which would be a career low, 43.4% from the field, which would be a career high, and then at 34.7% shooting from three, which would be, again, a career low. Hasn't been him at his absolute best for sure, but they're winning his minutes. Last game in particular, I saw much better signs defensively. Like that Sixers game, it wasn't even like good for Grady Dick standards, not a good defender. It was good defense. Hopefully that can continue. And his spacing is just so important. Like his spacing, it attracts so much attention from other teams. That is extremely valuable for the Raptors to have on a team that definitely lacks a little bit in the floor spacing department. I've also been kind of curious where we lie on minutes where we have two of these guys in the floor, two of these kind of floor spacing players like Grady Dick, Troy Walter, and Jamison Battles. So we'll pull up those numbers here. Again, Grady Dick's minutes, his net rating with him on the floor and Walter and Battle off the floor have been great, plus 18. With one of them on the floor, it's also been great, either with Walter or he's plus 20 or Jamison Battle where he's plus 40.8 net rating. All three of them on the floor, it's garbage time, so it's not really giving us any information there. But Grady Dick minutes have been great. Jamison Battle on the floor without them has also been pretty good. 36 minutes only, and these are all small sample size, but plus 65 net rating in those minutes. Kobe Walter is the only one where there's been a negative. Minus 17.9 in the minutes where Jacoby's on without Grady Dick and Jamison Battle. And out of curiosity, yeah, Walter and Battle minutes, 7 minutes, not really telling us anything, but they weren't very good in that tiny stretch of games. So this kind of tells us that, like, the floor spacing has been significant. Like, we haven't done a ton of minutes with, like, the two of the floor spacing wings on the floor together, but they've been successful. And I kind of want to test more of it through the season to make any definitive statements here. But I think what is clear here, and kind of like talk about the end of rotation, going into the season, I certainly thought that Grady Dick had a pretty firm spot in rotation, but had to look over his shoulder a little bit. Walter was on the cusp of it. Jamison Battle was just on the outside looking in, trying to get himself in. Grady Dick, I don't think is going anywhere. The Raptors continue to play really well in his minutes, and he's improving. Grady Dick staying in his spot. He's not coming out of rotation. As for Walter, that Sixers game was a very good step in the right direction, but Battle's been playing well. I don't know what else he has to do to get these minutes, because again, like, he's played well, and he's still not getting over Walter, who hasn't played particularly well. But I think it's something to monitor. And if the Raptors do feel like they want to go make a trade, Walter could be an interesting additional piece to any trade that does transpire for the Raptors. Battle's been good, but it's just the Raptors bench has been successful this season. It's hard for him to get into it. We kind of knew this was going to be the case when there were going to be players who were playing well who couldn't crack it because it was a pretty deep bench overall. And we've been harping on all three of these guys. Grady Dick, whose minutes have been good. Battle, who's played pretty well in his limited role. Walter, who hopefully can get better. We haven't even talked about Ochai Agbaji, who doesn't even fit into like a 10-man rotation based on the depth chart that we saw there. And in the last game of the Sixers, he was back healthy and didn't play at all. So it's tough out here. Agbaji and Battle are players who can help this team win, but are a little bit surplus to requirements right now. And all of this is a good problem to have. It's a good problem for these guys to be, no pun intended, battling out for these positions. It's only going to help to have this sort of internal competition. We were hoping for this at the start of the season, and now that we're here, 10-5, it feels great that we have this internal dilemma, because it means there's a lot of people playing well, and even when a guy like Colin Murray is out, we are taking care of as far as the minutes are concerned. So hopefully it continues. In the end, though, I do want to see some more Jamison Battle. Even if that sacrifice a bit of Walter, I think James Battle's warranted extra minutes. I think the Raptors play well and he's on. I'd like to see a little bit more of it. And I know there's a lot of people in the fan base and in the chat who have asked for more Battle and have liked Jamison Battle so far this season. Mobo out of this. Not in the conversation. He's getting his minutes from the 905 right now. That was a bit of a miss. Filipowski's not a guy I would really care about. I don't think that's somebody who cracks our rotation right now. The miss for me is a Dembona. That would have been the pick instead of Jonathan Mobo. He's played really well for the Sixers this season. Filipowski doesn't really interest me. Can't play defense, and offensive game, not something that it's fine. It's not something I'm truly gonna miss. The defense is just way too concerning for me. Dembona was the guy, that rim protector. All right, last thing on the show today. Let's have a look at Bleacher Report's 2019 redraft. So I did this a couple weeks ago, and I clipped it, actually did quite well. People were interested in this. Here is my redraft of the 2019 NBA draft class. My top 5 is John Morant, Darius Garland, Tyler Hero, RJ Barrett 4th, Nick Claxton 5th. Kind of thinking about it now, I may have swapped Barrett with Claxton. You could maybe make a case to swap for Cam Johnson, but like if I'm drafting here, I need a good player. I'm taking Barrett over both of these guys. Just depending on your situation. Are you drafting for like a fit? Or are you drafting for this guy to be your best player? If you're drafting for like the best player, it's RJ Barrett, I think. And I think I could have put him higher, but I was trying to eliminate my bias as much as possible. But 4th is where I settled on for RJ Barrett. Then we have Cam Johnson 6, Kobe White 7th, DeAndre Hunter 8, Zion Williamson 9, Nickeil Alexander-Walker 10. I put Zion there because he's always hurt. When I've seen him play for the Pelicans this year, he doesn't give a shit. Yeah, I wouldn't take Zion over any of those guys I have ahead of him. And maybe even not, to be honest, looking back. But anyways, let's see what Bleacher Report cooked up with this. Would Zion Williamson, Ja Morant still go top 2? I mean, I think Ja should. I could see Ja going second for somebody else. Zion should be nowhere near the top 2. I have not seen this list. I'm going in blind. I have not seen this list. Let's take a look. So, first I'll pick Darius Garland. Okay. I have him second, so that's fine. If Darius Garland, I could rely on it to be healthy, I probably would take him first. But I can't, so I didn't. Ja Morant should be second. Okay. We're not going crazy yet, but it's Bleacher Report. Number 3, oh, no. Number 3, Zion. I mean, why? What does it say? Even considering all the missed time, conditioning issues, and the mostly disappointing fits and starts nature of his career. I don't know what that means. Okay. How are the highs? Such as when Zion was also averaged 27 points per game. Shooting 61% at 20 as a 20-year-old. Yeah, that's quite a while ago, boss. Like, we're a little bit beyond those days, it seems now. He isn't doing that anymore, and doesn't look like he will be doing that anymore. The streets would be named after him. There will be citywide holidays created. Bro, are we like talking about this? It's not fucking 2020 anymore. Like, it's 2025. The Zion hype, like, it's not there anymore. What are we even talking about here? We're redrafting based on what we know today. That's how a redraft works. Not fucking what he was then and what he was when he was 20. He's not 20 anymore. This is crazy. He's missed more than half of his career games. That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah. Man. Don't agree with that. Fourth, Tyler Hero. Okay. I had him third on mine, but I had Zion way lower. So whatever. Fifth, Kobe White. Oof. Okay. I wouldn't have him above RJ, but not an egregious spot. Lou Dort, sixth. Is Lou Dort on my list? Fuck. Lou Dort's not even on my list. He went undrafted. I made this list by looking at the draft. So I didn't consider undrafted players. Lou Dort isn't even on my list. If he was, he would be 8th ahead of DeAndre Hunter behind Kobe White. So I apologize for him not being on my list. So I think this is fine, but I still wonder where RJ is. PJ Washington 7th over Cam Johnson, Nick Claxton, DeAndre Hunter, and RJ Barrett. What are we talking about here? He's good. Man, I wouldn't put him that high. Cam Johnson, okay, we still haven't seen RJ. Naz Reid also went undrafted, okay. I didn't think about undrafted players. Naz Reid in my redraft would go probably behind, maybe even ahead of DeAndre Hunter. Definitely ahead of Zion, though. I would definitely have him ahead of Zion. 10th, what are we doing? Where the fuck is 11th? RJ Barrett. Oh. I mean, we got like a 20-point per game player here. I get that it's not like a skill set truly indicative of winning basketball, but it is a very skilled player here. This is low. This is low. Wow. This is disrespectful. I told you I put Lou Dort already. 8th. Wow. That's really low. What does it say? He's had a strong enough career on paper to make his slippage a surprise. Okay. He's the leader among the 22nd total points scored. He's been a full-time starter since he debuted with the Knicks. Okay. 19, 5.5, and 3 assists per game. His counting stats stack up. All but the stars named the class. Okay. That's it. Volume is everything. If you sort the leading scorers in this class, Barrett's at 21 in true shooting percentage. Sure, there's inefficiency. I agree. But, like, not enough to knock him this far. 18th in win shares. Win shares does matter. Minus 1% in career box plus minus 23rd in class. I mean, are we diving into these numbers for every player on this list? Feels like we're hunting a reason to put RJ down here. This is too far. I understand where the description is coming from here, but man, this is far too low for a player of his skill, in my opinion. I think in a redraft he would go higher. Down to 12th, that's quite a bit. That's a little bit low to me, to be honest. I'd have him ahead of PJ Washington. Good player. Nick Claxton 13. I have him 5th. Wow, we are all over the place here. Gafford 14th. That's about where I have him. I have him a bit higher. It's not too far off. Then Kelton Johnson 15th. Are you sure? It's a little higher than I have him. I have him 15, 16, 17. I guess I have him 17. I have him 17th. Okay. I mean, it's just some of the names that we're missing here. Hachimura, Brandon Clark. Did I not? I have Brandon Clark there. That's about right, Brandon Clark. Max Strus, undrafted, so I didn't put him in because I didn't factor in undrafted players. I'm sorry. Jordan Poole, 19th. I have him. Did he go undrafted or something? Oh, Jordan Poole, I have him in the lottery. So I actually have a bit more respect than they do for him. Ty Jerome, I guess similar to what I have. Grant Williams, I guess somewhat similar. All right, we're not getting much out of the rest of this year. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty shocked by that RJ positioning. I'm stunned by that Zion positioning. In a redraft, I don't think Zion's going third. Missing half your career games as you third overall, but God forbid your 21st true shooting percentage. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, Jimbo. Again, it just felt like it feels like the list was put together, and then the author Grant Hughes went to find some confirmation bias statistics, made the list, and then came up with the numbers to support it. That's what it kind of looks to me like. So I wouldn't go as to label this purposely bad to like piss people off, but no, that's not very good. That's not very good. Availability matters. I'd rather RJ 21st true shooting percentage playing almost every game every season than Zion missing more than half his career games. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? All right. Anyways. Yeah, for people say I don't like RJ. I defend him when it's needed. Anyways, that will do it for the stream today. I've got to go make dinner. I got some shit to do before the live stream starts at 7:15. I'm live at 7:15. That's just over an hour away for Raptors vs. Wizards. Hopefully, keep on moving forward in the NBA Cup. Go 3-0, 11-5 in the season. We're favored by 14. Let's have some fun tonight. Thank you guys for tuning in, hanging out with me. I very much hope to see you later tonight. This weekend, Raptors play Sunday, and we're back Monday for the happy hour. Lots of great stuff on the way. Just make sure before you go, you've hit the like button. It does make a big difference to the channel. And on top of that, please make sure you're subscribed to the channel. I'm live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 5 p.m. for the happy hour. Live 50 minutes for every Raptors game.